Well, first of all, nice to meet all of you.
Mhm.
Does everybody speak English?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, nice to meet all of you, and thank you for inviting me to spend some time with you. I really appreciate that. I started my doTERRA business about it'll be almost 14 years in the fall. And I had no network marketing or direct sales experience when I started. I just knew that I wanted to be using and promoting natural products. And my vision at the time was being a health coach. And I also was a certified Pilates teacher and yoga teacher, and I had been doing that for years. My prior background is I was a corporate bankruptcy attorney. And I had quit the practice of law to go into holistic wellness and taught Pilates for about 15 years and was getting a little bit burnt out and wanted to have an additional revenue stream so I could teach less. And I was thinking about getting pregnant, and I got pregnant and had a baby and just knew that I didn't want to be teaching 8 hours a day, which is like a 12-hour day with all the scheduling and rescheduling and all of the things. So anyway, long story short, I found doTERRA and I immediately loved the products. And I have been doing a combination of in-person building and online building throughout my doTERRA career. There's nothing that is better than face to face. I'm just going to share that with you. So I have not seen anybody who's 100% online builder have any kind of long-term success. There's got to be a connection, like face to face, one-on-one, on the phone, on Zooms. What I'm saying is it just can't be an automation routine and be successful because this is a relationship business. Now, with that said, you can still find people online to build with, and you can still train people online like I'm working with you right now. But if people are unwilling to pick up the phone or get on a Zoom or meet in person, it is a challenging business and the retention doesn't seem to stick. So I've done a combination. What I have found most effective in my own business is building my own personal brand, having a brand message, and that brand is strong on social media. And I am who I am on the social media, which is who I am in person. But whether you know me in person or whether you've met me online, like that's the message that I'm getting across. So people locally who I meet in person, like I was just literally a couple minutes ago texting with um a woman who owns a little boutique down the street, and I met her several years ago. Love her clothing, always pop in there. She's just right down the street. And she invited me in to do a local event last week. And I was displaying multiple doTERRA products and sold some of them, enrolled a few new a few new customers. And today she was telling me what else she wanted to order. She had ordered the MetaPower Recharge, which is the electrolyte, the collagen advantage, and now she wanted some Serenity gel caps and some Copaiba gel caps and some Deep Blue. I had given her samples of all of that. So that's an in-person relationship. But she also follows me online, so she knows what I'm up to. And that's what probably initiated her reaching out for me to co-host this event with her. So I think that the combination of being in person and meeting face to face with people and building real tangible relationships is so strong and solid. And you're front of mind when you have an online presence. So I think that the thing that people confuse with being online is that you've got to be selling your product every single day. And that's not how I build my business. I sell my brand and my messaging every single day. And then I have some sort of reach out, or if you want this, check this out, or some type of through line with a product on a daily basis. But I'm also posting a lot of things that are not product based. So for instance, in my Instagram, which is like the primary platform that I usually post on, I started off this morning, well, I'll just go back to the beginning. I was talking about like a coaching moment. This is like a really like just a face to camera sharing with people how much I love having the freedom in my life to build, to do what I like because I've built the type of business that I've built and still have time for priorities for me, which are family, summer, watching my daughter play surf, play volleyball, etc. Have my parents come in for 5 days from Florida across the country. I'm in California and still have time for that. So I left a few messages here just sharing like a little bit about that lifestyle and inviting them into a coaching program that I do. So I meet with my clients because I am a life and leadership coach as well. And I meet with them twice a month. And that's just sort of like a side thing that I do. And I think it feeds off of the wellness lifestyle and pyramid because it's like, okay, I'm going to put good things in my body, but I also want to make sure my mind is being managed too. So the ultimate 10 out of 10 life that I preach about is really a mind, body, spirit connection all around. And I'm focusing specifically on women over 50 who are looking for solutions to reverse their aging process. And reverse the aging process can be working with metabolic rate, it can be losing weight, it can be getting rid of wrinkles on your face and your skin, glowing skin, it could be supporting your hormones, it could be sleeping better, like, but that's the target, the very niche target is women over 50 who want to reverse the aging process. That's all I talk about.
So
And then
that's
I
what.
throw in
Uh-huh.
products here and there. And one of the products is managing your mind. Because if you are stuck in a space where you are angry or stressed out or resentful or bitter or um, judgmental and you're holding on to that energy, you will age faster. So my brand is a combination of not just what you put on your skin, but what you take internally. I call it an inside job. And the inside job also, in addition to detox your body, it's also detox your mind. So that was what I was sharing. And there was a couple of testimonials here. But then the next, and then a little bit behind the scenes of me doing a Zoom. Like I could be sitting here right now with no pants on and none of you would know. Now I happen to have sweatpants on right now, but I also have slippers on. And this was a funny shot where I was caught like in a bathing suit and nobody knew because it looked like a nice, cute little blue top on the top on the Zoom, but I had run in from outside and I was in a bikini and I was sharing like that's the behind, like just getting people to know me. That's the behind the scenes of working. So anyway, after that, I'm sharing, my longevity hacks and all the beverages I take on a daily basis, including the MetaPower Recharge, the MetaPower Advantage. And then the next slide is like healthy, plant-based food. And the next one is specifically targeted towards women over 50 dealing with cortisol issues. Then I do a little bit more behind the scenes about me driving my husband's truck, which I would never do because I don't like big cars, and taking a hip hop class, which is also something I would never do. So I'm like, who am I? Because my audience knows me. And then I go back to this is where I started today. And I'm talking about again, like all of the beverages I brought to my 45-minute workout class. I brought coffee and hydrogen water and MetaPower Recharge and all the things because I'm sharing that anti-aging is an inside job. And then I shared how my husband is leaving today. He went back to Boulder for 8 days. And then just a couple polls to engage the audience, and then a couple of stuff about beauty, my daughter teaching me how to use makeup, and then that leads again to a promotion about less wrinkles, better skin, collagen product, and the Rose Hydrosol Mist. So I'm like really
It's
flowing with
today only,
story.
right?
What?
This is only today.
No, half of it was yesterday.
Uh,
Yeah. So I usually do about 6 stories a day. Some of them have 2 slides. Or so I'd usually do 4 themes a day in the stories, but some of them have 2 or 3 slides. So like this face to camera ended up being sort of 3-part.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then it was a sales page to the testimonials, and that was it. And then the follow-up with the bikini. So that was like one story. So boom, 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 I put that up, and then I'll go in a couple hours later and I do the recharge story and the food story. And then a couple hours later, I come back And I do the Who Am I story with the truck and the dance class and the funny face. And then I'm on Today. So I'll pop in, 3 times during the day and share a couple of, so people who put up like, hey, this is on sale, buy this, you don't do well because there's no relationship behind the message. So what I'm really committed to doing is sharing my personality, sharing the behind the scenes, taking my audience in for a view of my favorite things, personality of my husband, my dog, my daughter, all of that. And so they learn to know, like, trust or love trust. And then people like Jackie down the street does an event, and I'm the one that she brings in to host it because she loves who I am and how I portray myself. So, what you say matters, how you say it matters. Write this down. What you say matters. How you say it matters. How you land that message matters, meaning you get to be enrolling in your way of being. The way that you show up on a daily basis gets to be enrolling. Now, you might not be everybody's cup of tea, but the people who love humor and love that I am bold and confident and will get up there and do whatever and not care, and I'm, successful, and I also am balanced and grounded and have a funny husband, like, they're going to be my people, and they're going to be the people that buy. So that's how I've built an online brand versus trying to build online, if that makes sense. Now, what happens is people come in and then the process is very manual. So like if I have a reel that gets a lot of comments, I'm in there manually responding to people. I do not do, I mean, there's a couple of topics I talk about that I have an initial engagement bot set up to that they can come in, but I follow up manually because when you're stuck in an automation, you're like, I'm out of here. I don't want to deal with this. Right. So people want people. People want real relationship. Write that down. People want to talk to people. They want real relationships. They don't want to talk to robots. They don't want to feel like you are not relatable. They don't want to feel like you're untouchable. And when you have things that are engaging, like polls or questions or things like that, they want to answer because they feel like you care. And then you build relationships with those people in your direct messages. And then you enroll them into your business or the product. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then you train them just like we're doing this now. So doesn't matter if you're good at social media, because you can learn to be good at social media.
But what I hear you saying, you pick a niche. You have to pick a niche. Know the problems, the needs.
You have to pick a
desires.
niche. Have to pick a niche of who you're going to serve, or you're serving nobody.
Exactly. Yeah. You're serving nobody. No.
Yeah. There are some questions in the chat. Maybe Hayley, maybe you can take a look.
Okay. Yeah. So
Can
I'm
you
new.
tell-
First of all, my name is spelled Hayley, Hayley. Super particular about that because everybody spells it wrong. So I'm going to type it. It's in my little bio here, like little name tag here on the screen. I spell it the old fashioned way because I'm one of the older Hayleys because the name was new when I was born. I was named after Hayley Mills. She's a British actress. Okay. So you have a question. Can you tell me how important sales has been? And do you find sales capability more than product information? Well, you don't have a business if you don't sell. So if you want to have a business, then you get to sell. And if you want to sell, you get to market. Write that down. Marketing, good marketing equals sales. And sales means money in your pocket. So all of it is equally important. Sales is very important, but sales is relationships. That's all it is. Sales means connecting with somebody. Write this down. knowing what their pain point is and coming up with a solution to solve it. That's all it is.
Mhm.
Selling without the relationship feels what?
Pushy.
Pushy, yeah. And disconnected. Like you don't care. Like you have an agenda. But selling when you care and when you're connected and you're committed to solving a problem is actually beautiful. Giving somebody a solution to what they need. So sales is very important. And all you've got to remember is that you get to be in a relationship. Hey, how can I help you? Hey, I'm here for you if you need me. What is the most important thing that you want to work on? What would you be willing to do in order to have that solution? Where would you be willing to go? What are you open to spending? No, it's not all free. Yes, I can be here and I can support you with education and data if you need it and resources. So I think they're equally as important. You want to know what to give people. Doesn't mean that you've got to memorize all the information, but you got to know where the assets are. You got to be a product of the product so that you can have your own testimonial or solution. So the reason that I'm so committed to this anti-aging space right now is because I'm 55 and I feel like I don't look 55. And I feel like I don't feel 55. And so I've been biohacking my life since I was in my late 20s. And it's worked. And so when I stand next to people who are my age, oftentimes I feel like I look at least 10 or 15 years younger than them. And I know that it's an inside job. It's not just the moisturizer I'm putting on my face. It's the years of taking care of my body like it's a well-oiled machine, and it's the moisturizer I put on my face, and it's the toners, and it's the hydrosol mist, and it's the MetaPower, and it's the food, and it's the sleep, and it's all the things, but you don't necessarily see it after 30 days of using it because it's an inside job. But when I had my biology tested 3 years ago, my blood work came up as if I was 18 to 20 years old from the doctor. So I know it's working. And when I look back at pictures of myself from 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, it's amazing. I've actually aged backwards. So that's what I like to talk about because it's worked for me. So I know what I'm doing has worked for me. And that's what I share. Now, that might not be your cup of tea. Maybe you want to talk about something totally different, like Lyme disease. Maybe you want to talk about cancer. Maybe you want to talk about, natural immune system things for kids. Maybe you want to talk about detoxing your gut, brain health, whatever you want to talk about, but you got to know your niche.
Yeah.
And that's all you got to know. And then once somebody signs up, then you can share with them other things. Like I signed up a girl a couple months ago who wanted to do some stuff with her skin. And then last month she bought toothpaste and laundry detergent. You know what I mean? Like you can get them on the other products, but you got to have your niche to attract them. All right. Any questions? I'm going to go to Rensky. Is that good?
Renske.
Renske.
Any feel complete? Is the
Renske.
question?
Yeah.
Where's Anuka? I don't even see her. Is she on here? Anouk?
Anouk. Mhm.
Oh, I see. There's like 30 people on the Zoom, but half of them have their cameras off.
Aha,
Okay.
good.
Oh, all right. I think I'll turn my camera off. You guys tell me how that feels.
Go
Ik
on.
hou ervan. I love it. Yeah, exactly.
How's that feel?
Weird.
Guys, get your cameras on.
Mm.
I don't care where you are. I don't care if you did your hair. I don't care if you are in bed. Turn your cameras on. We're talking about relationships right now. We are talking about relationships. You ask a question in the chat and you want me to invest my time in answering it. You don't even have your camera on. Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, I'm
love
trying, but
I don't care if
it's-
you're driving. I don't care. Just have your camera on.
it's not working over here. I'm sorry.
You don't need to apologize. But this is a good lesson, okay? Because seriously, you guys, if you want to build a business in a network marketing, direct sales business based on relationships, you get to have your cameras on. And when somebody is giving you their time or you are giving someone else their time, you get to have your cameras on out of respect for whoever's on the call with you. And when people are on with you, how will you feel if somebody has their camera off?
Yeah.
Like you're not worth it. Right? So if your camera's not working, great. If you're naked and you need to have your camera off, fine. But I'm just going to give you a tip going forward. Whoever didn't have them on, and Sabine and Anouk and Amin and Francisca, I actually have it set so I don't even see the blank spaces on my screen. I only see who has their camera on. So I thought there was only like, 10 people on the call because half of you had them off. And Ryan and Rensky. So Rensky's the next question. She has her camera off.
Yeah, I know it's not working. Zoom was updating for me, and it's
Okay,
there's
so fix
something
it
weird
later,
going
and if
on.
it's not working, it's not working. I'm not here to guys to punish you or call you out or make you feel bad, but I will tell you that when somebody's giving you their time, super disrespectful. It's like being at lunch with somebody and have your back to them and you're on the phone. You're a taker if you're sitting there with your camera off and somebody's giving you their time. It's real taker energy. Do you guys hear me when I say that? Because I can imagine how many team calls you have and you sit there and you have your cameras off thinking nobody will notice. Maybe you think you don't matter. Maybe you think nobody will like care if you have your camera off. We care. We care about you. We care about supporting you, and your face and your voice matters. And when you have your camera turned off, it's very taker-ish. I have a rule when I'm doing workshops and stuff like that. You can't even come if you don't have your camera on.
Good one. I will keep that one in for
Yeah,
sure.
you can't come.
No.
Put it in your calendar, make it a priority. And if you can't make it a priority and there's a real good reason why you can't have your camera on, reach out to whoever's the host and say, hey, listen, you know what? I'm in the car, I'm driving to the airport, I really want to be with you. I've got 4 kids in the back, it's gonna be a mess about my, how do you feel? Like, be in communication. But don't just show up and not have your camera on. I personally find it rude. Okay. And if there's an issue, Rensky, with your camera and it's not able to be turned on right now, totally get it. Fine. I'm going to answer your question anyway. Okay. All right. So you said you have a question if there's still enough time. Oh, if I have a question if there's enough time. When do you have enough knowledge to help others provide the right information, and how did you build up the knowledge? So I built up the knowledge just simply by being a consumer of the product. I've got to be honest with you. I'm not a person who loves to sit and research. I don't love to like read long pieces of information. I will go to things like the company convention, the company leadership, and if there's some type of call, I'll listen and take notes. But it's really just you being a product of the product and having your experience, because some people are going to want to have all the science and data and research. There are certain kinds of people that are like that. Like they like to analyze things more. They're slower to make decisions. They really want to have all the facts, and that's fine. I'm not like, this is just a neutral statement. Some people are like, just tell me what you use and I'll do it. Right. So there's 2 kinds of people. Some who don't care as long as you've had a good experience, and some who really want the facts. So know where you can get the facts for those people. Know where you can get the resources for those people. Hey, you know what? I've never had an experience with that product before, but I know others who have, and let me send you off this one sheet, this PDF, this video, so you can get a feel for yourself. You can sell anything as long as you're what?
Know your niche.
And what?
Build relationships.
Yeah, as long as you're in relationships, if you're honest and vulnerable and authentic about what you do and don't know, but don't hold yourself back. Don't tell yourself you're small. Don't feel shame about it. Just, hey, listen, you know what? I've never used that oil before, but let me find you some research and some data for you so that you can see what it does.
Okay, get it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Who's next? Anouk again. Anouk who's in the bathtub with no camera. We want to do a bath with you, Anouk. You said you have to be able to convince people first and foremost. I think you also know that 80% of the time you sell a feeling. Okay, so first of all, let me just share something. Yes and no. Okay, so first of all, let me just share something. You never have to convince anybody. In fact, please don't convince people. Please don't convince people. Convincing is the worst way to sell somebody. Now, maybe that's just a language choice that you're choosing, but the best way to get somebody interested in purchasing something is to enroll them in their vision for what they are looking for in a product or a business, not convince them. Convincing is as if I have my idea that I am steadfast about. It's my agenda. I don't care about you, and I'm going to dominate and manipulate you into this decision. Enrolling is like, hey, you broke your foot. Okay, great. So you're going to be in a cast for the next 8 weeks. You can totally do what your doctor said, but are you open to hearing about how that can heal more quickly? What would you be open to using something that would be helping that? How quickly do you want it to heal? Well, I've had a lot of success with this deep blue oil. I broke my toe just 8 weeks ago. And literally after 2 weeks, I was walking without any type of boot because I used the deep blue. I used a little bit of Kabaiba. I used a little Aroma Touch, and I was just putting it all over my foot like 2 or 3 times a day. So it's enrolling them into the vision healing faster, but not your manipulative agenda. Does that make sense? I know that you probably didn't mean it like that, but that's what the difference is really between those two words. Yeah, but again, it's like you can't change somebody's beliefs. They've got to want it themselves, is what I'm trying to say. And I have somebody who was talking to me about something the other day, and she was sharing that it was I think she was arguing with me about something about the water that I was drinking in my house, and wanted me to use her Kagan, water system. And it was like relentless, the comments that were coming back. Even when I didn't respond, relentless, the comments that were coming back into my DMs from her. I'm never going to buy from somebody who's convincing me or trying to get me to change my beliefs. Like, people have got to come to their belief system by themselves on their time. And you can provide them with information, experience, passion, data, science. Somebody said, maybe it was you, Anouk, feeling like a vibe and energy, and you can support them, but you can't change somebody's belief systems, and you can't convince people, because here's what's going to happen. You're going to convince people, and then they'll make that purchase, and the next month they're out because they had remorse because it wasn't their idea to begin with. I was talking to my husband last night, and we were talking about, okay, so this is funny. So in doTERRA, they take us on a trip every single year. It's called the Presidential Diamond Trip. And for the last, I don't know, X amount of years, except during COVID when we went to Mexico, we've been coming somewhere over in Europe. So we were just in Portugal and Greece last month. And next year, for the first time ever, we're going west. So our trip is in Bali. So I said to Wes, it's really far. So we should probably go for several weeks, like go out a couple weeks before the trip, and then maybe even stay a week after. Like, let's just go spend a month there and like live there for a little while. So we talked about it, and I enrolled him in the idea. He's never been there. Maybe at like 3 weeks. I said we can bring the kids. And soon as Madeline, who's she's going into her second year of high school. As soon as she's out of school, she's done on the 22nd of May. We can fly out here to our place in San Diego on the 22nd or 23rd, spend the holiday weekend here. It's our Memorial Day, and then boom, head off. And we'll get there 2 weeks before the trip, and we'll do our own thing. McKenna, my stepdaughter, who's 22, also lives here in San Diego. She can fly with us and spend 2 weeks with us. And then we'll do the presidential diamond trip. McKenna can go home because she's got a job. And then we can keep Madeline with us and then fly home. So he was like, why should we come to San Diego first? Why can't we just fly from Denver? And I was like, well, that makes no sense because Denver's here, San Diego's here, and then Bali is here. So why wouldn't we just like fly to San Diego, like unpack for the summer and then just continue on? And he had this whole story about how like that didn't make any sense. And I was like, Wes, if we fly from Denver, we're going to be after 38 hours of traveling Bali. You want to come back to Denver and then you want to drive the 16 hours it takes to come to San Diego for the summer, which is where we spend our summer. Doesn't make sense. So then I said to him, you know what's funny about you? You argue with me no matter what, unless it's your idea. So what I'm going to do from now on is I am going to plant seeds and let you come up with the idea so it's yours, even though it may have initially been mine. And then there's no argument. Meaning, if I let him believe, like, oh, you know what, Hayley, it just makes the most sense right now to fly to San Diego. We'll unpack all our stuff for the summer. We'll spend 2 or 3 days. We'll go. And then when we're done with Bali, come back and we're there for the summer. I don't have to do the drive. Oh, Wes, that's a great idea. Oh my God, I can't believe you even thought of that. So anyway, what the point that I'm making is that people can't be convinced. And lots of people don't like being told what to do. They feel like it's controlling. He doesn't want to be controlled. So from now on, I'm going to figure out a way to let him come up with my idea. And that's what you're really doing with your people. Does that make sense? I got this idea from a friend of mine who I went out to lunch with on Sunday or Monday. He is 62 years old and I have known him since I was 5. Okay. So he's like 7 years older than me. His sister was my best friend in elementary school and they had another older sister and then he's the older brother. And over the last couple of years, they're all in Southern California now. They used to live in New Jersey. We used to live in New Jersey. Like we've reconnected and we're friends again. So we share funny things about our families because we've known each other for 50 years. Crazy, right? And my parents and their parents were best friends. So anyway, my parents are in town and so Scott meets us for lunch and he's talking about his parents. My parents are like, you know, what's up with your mom? What's up with your dad? And he says, well, my dad's such a pain in the ass. Every time he goes out to a restaurant, it's like, he can't figure out what to order. It's like, take this off that. No, I don't like that. He makes 100 changes. Then he gets his meal and he complains and he wants to send it back. So what I started figuring out to do is I'm going to order something else that my dad wants on the menu. And then when my dad complains about his food, I'm just going to be like, Dad, I just got this. Do you want it? It's great. And I know that he'll like it. Even though I don't want it, I'm going to order a second meal for him just so the experience is more fun going out to lunch. So I was like, oh my God, that's brilliant. That's what I'm going to do with Wes with the decision making. And Wes is my husband. So I'm sharing this with you because that's where you've got to go with people. Let them believe that the choice is theirs, not because you're manipulative or sneaky, but because you're diving deep into relationship and you're figuring out, you're getting curious. Write that word down, curiosity. You're writing that down and you're getting curious because curiosity helps you unfold what's really going on underneath all of the objections. And then you can get through those objections and enroll them in what they really want. Does that make sense? All right, you guys type in the chat. I've talked for a really long time. What are you hearing me say so far on the Zoom? Type in the chat or just say out loud. What are some of your biggest takeaways? And somebody just wrote something. Francisca, crying baby. Sorry, you don't ever have to apologize for having a crying baby. Thank you for being here. All right, so you're hearing me say being in a relationship, believing is a better word. Connection is the key. Pick a niche. Make sure you connect with people and understand what they need and how to reach them. Build relationships. Build relationships. Find out what the other person needs. Be sincere. Be connected to the wishes of your people. Invest in relationships. Be curious. Be enrolling. Be connected. Personal branding. Get to know people. Dive into their needs and connections. Good for you guys for typing in the chat and listening here. Niche is super important. Connection, warmth. Get curious. Be authentic. Empathetic. Authentic. Trust. Be yourself. Great. All right. You guys are great. You heard everything. All right. So my time with you is up, I think. And is there any last minute questions that you have for me before I pop out? You're like, I'm never getting on a Zoom with her again because she requires me to be on camera and I want to hide. That was a good takeaway, though, wasn't it? Nobody mentioned that.
I have a very practical question that this team asked me today. If you have a customer, do you sign them up as a customer or a wellness advocate? And there was a difference in opinion. So I'm curious.
I sign up everybody as a customer because why would I sign somebody up as a wellness advocate who doesn't want to do the business? And it gives you an opportunity to work with them. And if they love it, then you can go ahead and upgrade them later to a wellness advocate. But there's a whole bunch of tax implications that have to deal with being a wellness advocate and putting people in a position where they can see a back office and detailed genealogy and all the things that are related to business. And if that's not what they need, you're not listening.
Good.
So I enroll everybody as a customer. And if there's an opportunity for business, we talk about that later.
Yeah, that's exactly how I do it. Yes. Trained by you, so.
Well, it was great to see you. And Wes says hi. I told him right before I was getting on that I was getting on with you and your team. And he said to say hi. Cindy, it's great to see you again too. You're welcome to all of you who are saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you in the chat.
Can I say one thing, Hayley?
Yes.
In Holland, you don't have to subscribe everything when you enroll people as a wellness advocate. There is no difference in how we have to the information we have to give. And it is a good question because if you enroll someone as a wholesale customer, you can't build underneath. So if you want to build down, you need to make people wellness advocates.
Of course. Yeah.
So
if somebody wants you to build underneath of them, that's obviously a conversation that you get to have with them.
Yeah.
But I would never do that without talking to them because that doesn't feel like authentic. I would want somebody to know, hey, I'm building underneath of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. True. But the only thing is that like in other countries, you have to do a whole registration with the VAT numbers and all these kind of things. And in Holland, you don't have to do that.
In Holland, you don't have to do what?
Well, if you make someone a wellness advocate, there is no difference in registration. Like you don't have to put the VAT numbers and all these kind of things. Like when you enroll someone in Spain and I think in the States, you have to put the business thing in it and all. There is a different kind of registration. So there is less hassle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the specific things about each country. All I know is that if somebody doesn't want to do the business or isn't sure about doing the business, I don't personally think that the most strategic way to do it is to build underneath of them so I can place volume underneath of them. I would rather like put them underneath of a key leg I needed volume under that was building and then put, multiple people there and then have a conversation with them. Hey, I've got these people, or you may know these people. Are you open to, and then have a business conversation with them?
Yeah. But the only thing is when you just start, otherwise you get a whole horizontal line. So you have to start somewhere to build deeper legs.
Yes, but you can always upgrade people to a wellness advocate and move them later. or people who go inactive, you can move them and clean up the leg later. So I don't recommend, let's put it this way. I don't recommend building under somebody who doesn't want to build.
No, true.
That is not a great strategy. Then you're going to end up with a whole bunch of expectations that somebody can't meet later.
Mhm.
And then you're going to be upset.
Yeah, true. Absolutely.
So just be super clear in your communication and make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Okay, clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Hayley.
Thank you, Hayley. Thanks a
Let
lot.
me know if you ever want to do this again. I appreciate you.
Oh, yes,
Right.
wonderful.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. And do our regards from the Netherlands to Wes.
Zo we.
Ha, goed zo. Oké, ik ga even de recording uitzetten.